is your host, Ricky Ken, Symbian Guru, and I'm glad to be back. I took 2 weeks off. We had Christmas and then New Year's, and there was just so much going on that I didn't have time to film the show. Sorry about that. We're back in action for the new year, though. We've got tons of cool stuff planned for mobile with the Guru for 2009, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. First of all, we're recording this first episode for 2009 on the Nokia 5800 XpressMusic. So you'll notice that it's now in widescreen, and I wanted to give an idea of the quality of the video taking on the 5800. Obviously, the microphone's not quite up to spec, and it is a 3.2 megapixel camera instead of the full 5 megapixel, but it still should turn out pretty well. So that's kind of what's going on right now. So the quality of the show is going to be a little bit less than normal. That's because I'm using the 5800, but it's still pretty good considering it's a 3.2 megapixel phone. So that's been what we've been reviewing on Symbian Guru lately. First up, other than that, is I want to show you the next phone that we'll be reviewing on Symbian Guru, and that is the Nokia N79. Sorry about that. This is the white version, and it came with the white backplate as well as brown and red. This is the NAM variant, so this is going to have 3G on AT&T's network. See, it's got the 5 megapixel camera with the little sliding cover back here. The sliding cover is very, very nice, but the little part that you can grab it with is indented instead of sticking out, so it's kind of hard to get a hold of. I would like to see Nokia making that stick out. I think that it did that on the N85. So other than that, very nice dual LEDs back here, autofocus and all that. This phone does have an accelerometer, so the screen's going to rotate automatically, which is kind of neat. It's got a sliding lock cover up here, so you can slide to lock the keys and unlock them. And the keypad is actually very nice. This part of the phone, the D-pad and all the navigational buttons, not a big fan of. But I'll go into more on that in detail later on next week, as we're going to start reviewing the N79 for Symbian Guru. So definitely want to stay tuned to that. Overall, it's actually a really nice little phone. I've really kind of enjoyed it. It's got some really cool little features that I really like. So that's what's coming up next. We also found out today at CES, which is going on in Las Vegas right now, that Nokia is bringing the E63 to the U.S. market with 3G. If that sounds a little bit familiar, that's because it is. They announced that in November when they originally announced the E63. And I remember the E63 is kind of the dumbed-down version of the E71. It's a little bit thicker. It's missing some features, and it's got some other little tweaks here and there. I should be getting a unit in any day now for the US 3G version of the E63. So we'll have a full-out battle between that and the E71. The E63 does have its advantages. It's a little bit thicker, so it's going to feel a little bit more solid in your hand. It's also going to retail for $279. That's SIM-free, unlocked, unbranded, walk in, $280 later, you've got a new phone. That's probably going to be the cheapest S60 phone at launch ever, as far as I can think of. I'm sure there were some other ones that were a little bit cheaper, but that's pretty cheap, especially with US 3G ready to rock and roll. So we're kind of excited about that. But it's kind of sad that that's really all that Nokia had to announce at CES today. They're obviously probably showing off the 5800 and the N97, which was announced last month at Nokia World. But there's no new phones. They're just kind of saying, hey, don't forget we've got this one coming soon too. Very uneventful. But overall, CES has been a lot slower for cell phones specifically than in previous years. So maybe that makes sense. Also, we've got Mobile World Congress coming up. The S60 Summit's coming up after that. So there are some events coming up. But I was still really disappointed that Nokia's appearance at the major U.S. trade show for mobiles was that. So kind of disappointing, very lackluster, but hopefully they'll have something more for us to see later on. Probably their own launch event, I would imagine. They've got a couple of E-series that have been leaked that have not been announced. And so we've got a lot of stuff that should be coming out from Nokia. Last year they announced 13 new handsets, S60 specifically. So I would imagine that we'll probably get somewhere around there this year. So that's roughly 1 month, maybe a little bit more. So that's kind of what to expect. We also have other announcements from CES is the Samsung MBP200. It's pictured right here. And this thing is just plain cool. It's a Pico projector, so it's going to fit in your pocket. It's about the size of a cell phone. And it's going to give you image size up to 50 inches, I believe, which is pretty good size considering the size of this little projector. The cool thing about it, though, and the difference in other Pico projectors like the Optoma and the prototypes that we've seen from 3M, is that the Samsung NBP200 has a built-in display, 2.2-inch QVGA, that you can watch your videos on, and it has a micro SD slot. So you can load up videos on that. It's kind of like a personal media player with a projector built in, which is very neat. I really like that idea. They haven't announced any pricing for it, and the date of release has only been listed as 2009, which obviously really doesn't help anybody at all. So no clue on price, not real sure when it's coming out, but assuming it's priced under $500, that's a pretty killer deal. So we'll hope to see more information on that from Samsung very, very soon. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is, obviously I've been reviewing a lot of phones lately. I've got the 5800, I just sent back the N85 several weeks ago, and I've got the N79 ready to go. But this week, I've had to put my SIM card back into an old phone, and you're not going to believe what phone it is. It's the N95 III. Yeah, this phone I bought when I came back from Nokia World 2007, so over a year ago was when I actually bought it. It's been out for even longer than that. I think it came out in July of 2007, I believe. And you know what? I've had the N85, the N79, the 5800. I also have the E71, and frankly, this is still, for the U.S. market, the best phone out there. Yes, it gets shafted continuously for firmware, but it's got the pencil key, it's got nice big buttons here, it's got a pretty display, nice battery life, the same 5-megapixel autofocus camera that the other phones do. It doesn't have the dual LED flash, so it's kind of a sacrifice there, but the music quality is great. It's got the music playback keys, and it's just, it's just really, really nice, and it feels good to go back to something that I know is going to work exceptionally well. So that's actually what I've been back to. I really wanted the Nokia N85 to take this place. I really did. But I played with the Euro version, and the build quality just gave me too much hesitation. Now, I've heard from several different people, not Nokians, actual users, that the US 3G version, the NAM variant of the N85, has fixed the major issue, which was the bottom panel coming loose. So I've heard that. I have not actually played with one to verify, but I'm anxiously kind of waiting to see what else comes out at Mobile World Congress and everything. But I think that could kind of calm me down a little bit as far as recommending the N85. So really and truly, if you're in the U.S. market and you don't want a QWERTY, the N95 III is going to be the best option. And I know a lot of you will say the U.S. version of the N95 8 gigabyte. The only problem with that is the 8 gigabytes built in, which means that it's going to be dreadfully slow to transfer anything to it. Whereas this one, I can pop the memory card out, pop it in my computer, and go, go, go. Big fan of that. So that's really all that's going on right now with CES. There's not a whole lot going on. Like I said, we're finishing up the review of the 5800. Hopefully this video turned out really well and gave you an idea of the video capabilities. I'm not using an external microphone with this like I normally do. So this is just the phone by itself doing what it's supposed to do. We're going to start with the N79 review starting on Monday. And then following that, we're going to have the E63 review very, very soon on Simi Guru. So we've got tons of stuff going on for the new year, and I'd love to have you with us. And for all of our loyal readers and watchers, thank you so much. And we're going to make 2009 an even cooler year and find all kinds of cool stuff to do with your S60-powered smartphone. So thanks a lot for watching. As always, have a great day.